How's it going, Chad?
Famed wrestler Hulk Hogan has many fans around the world, but one of them, perhaps his wealthiest supporter, is now a major focus in the aftermath of the Hulk's $140 million award in his invasion of privacy lawsuit against online publisher Gawker. On Wednesday, a Florida judge denied Gawker's request for a new trial and a Wednesday request that the court reduce the jury verdict in light of recent reports that claim PayPal co-founder and billionaire investor Peter Thiel provided the financial muscle behind the Hulk's lawsuit. Thus, Gawker's appeal of the verdict continues. Gawker has said it's appealing in part because the $140 million payment would be, quote, ruinous, unquote, to its business. In March, Hulk Hogan, whose legal name is Terry Bollea, won the suit against Gawker after it posted a short video of him having sexual relations with a now ex-friend's then wife. Forbes and the New York Times are among the outlets reporting Thiel's alleged involvement Tuesday. Quote, according to these reports, a board member at Facebook and a major funder of the Committee to Protect Journalists has been secretly funding a legal campaign against our journalists, unquote, Gawker said in a statement Wednesday. We trust the appeals court will correct the outsized Florida jury verdict and reaffirm the law that protects a free and critical press, which is more emphatic and important than ever, unquote. The Wall Street Journal's Rolf Winkler and Stephen Kroger write that Thiel's motivation for being involved in the case is unclear, but note that his animus toward Gawker dates back to 2007, when Gawker's now defunct Valleyweb blog revealed that Thiel was gay. Thiel, who has since publicly discussed his sexuality, described the blog as, quote, the Silicon Valley equivalent of Al-Qaeda, unquote, in a 2009 interview. Thiel has also funded journalistic causes, giving $250,000 to the Committee to Protect Journalists, which works to promote press freedom internationally.
All right, what did we learn from all this?
Don't have stakeholders fund your lawsuit?
Don't have stakeholders fund your lawsuit?
Because he's a stakeholder in the outcome. Like, he's got a vendetta against Gawker, so him funding it is like a prejudice, so that seems kind of like grounds for appeal.
What have we learned about procedure from all this? Where are we in our process here? We're going through our fictitious lawsuit. We started with our complaint. We served the complaint. Maybe there was a motion to dismiss filed. As soon as that motion to dismiss was denied, followed by an answer. We do some discovery. The defendant makes a motion for summary judgment, and that motion for summary judgment is denied. That's where we are. You saw the motion for summary judgment. It was carried. So we got denied. So now we go to trial. In that trial, we're not spending a lot of time on the mechanics of the trial, because I assume if you really are interested in trying cases, you're going to take trial practice, get yourself on a trial team of some kind, something like that. Very few cases get trial, but the ones that do, right? At the trial, what happens? Who goes first? What? Who goes first to trial? Plaintiff goes first to trial. Plaintiff puts on their proof, right? Plaintiff puts on all their proof, and then what happens? Somewhere in here, right? The defendant puts on proof, we hope. Maybe not, right? Criminal cases, it's not unusual for the defendant not to put on these proof all. A little more unusual in civil cases. The defendant calls their witnesses, presents their evidence, right? Exhibits. And here you've got closing argument. And then jury deliberation. The stuff that we're interested in today is not any of that stuff. It's what comes in between here, maybe here, and definitely here. Okay? After you were right there with it. After the plaintiff puts on all their proof, the defendant can then do what? You're supposed to either party do it. No, that was for summary judgment. Motion to directed verdict. Motion to directed verdict. Okay. We'll give you a lot to read on this. Oops, put that on this. But it happened both ways. Right? Motion for directed verdict after the plaintiff's proof is closed. And what does the motion for directed verdict essentially say?
No jury could rule otherwise.
Let's look. Is there a federal rule that talks about a motion for directed verdict? Is there a federal rule that uses the words directed verdict? It is, everybody. Don't get that. I can't remember yours. I'll get this. Here's the Kentucky rule, okay? Kentucky Rule 50, CR 5001, motion for directed verdict. Now, if I look over here at Rule 50, the counterpart in the federal system is very different. Rule 50 motion in the federal court talks about judgment as a matter of law in a jury trial. 5001 talks about motion for directed verdict. The reality of the situation is that in almost every case, criminal or civil, the defendant is going to make a motion for directed verdict at the close of the plaintiff's proof. Okay? So this is not criminal procedure, but if you are trying a criminal case, it's a whole lot more likely than trying a civil case. If you're trying a criminal case, the defendant is going to, it's almost malpractice not to make a motion for directed verdict at the close of the prosecution's proof. Okay? In civil or criminal context, do you often win a motion for directed verdict? No. That's pretty unusual. Comparatively unusual, but not outside the realm of possibility. And what the defendant is saying in the motion for directed verdict is like, look, you didn't prove your case. You haven't proved your case. Such that a reasonable jury could agree with you. Right? They're not going to find in your favor. And can you have a verdict that is directed in part, right? Directed verdict in part. Judgment as a matter of law in part. That's the one claim, and that's another claim. Sure. Sure. Just like you can do summary judgment. Think about it this way, so we have a good grasp of the larger arc that's going on here, right? So imagine that you are Gawker, right? You are defending a case against Hulk Hogan. Hulk Hogan sues Gawker for defamation, and there are a bunch of defenses. If you read those pleadings that I put up in your blackboard, they had a whole bunch of defenses, but let's just boil it all down to one First Amendment defense. Okay? So the First Amendment defense, as soon as they get started with the lawsuit, they're like, oh, the First Amendment is a bar to their lawsuit. The First Amendment says we win. We don't get sued for defamation here because the First Amendment protects it. So on the basis of that First Amendment defense, they file a motion to dismiss. Okay? As a matter of law, we win this. Even if we play on your turf and everything you say is perfectly true, 100%, your complaint, we still win because the First Amendment says we win. The speech is protected. The judge says nope. Later on, they file a motion for summary judgment. That motion for summary judgment says there's no genuine issue of material fact here because the First Amendment says we win. To the extent that there are issues of intent or issues of proof that needed to be sussed out in discovery on the First Amendment issue, we resolved all of that. We know what the evidence looks like now. There's no genuine dispute of material fact. We win under the First Amendment. First Amendment protects us. The judge says no. So you go to trial. Hulk Hogan puts on all of his proof against Gawker at trial. And at the close of all that proof, Gawker's going to say what? Judge, we really think that the First Amendment applies here, and no reasonable jury could say that it doesn't. No reasonable jury could say that the First Amendment isn't an absolute bar to the plaintiff recovering in this case. You have the record wrong. The judge says nope. So the defendant has to then put on their proof. At the close of the entire case, all the proof has been put on. Right? The jury has heard all the evidence that they're going to hear. They've heard the plaintiff's side of things, they've heard the defendant's side of things, and now if you are Gawker, what do? The motion for directed verdict. The motion is in the federal court, you make a motion for judgment as a matter of law. Same thing as motion for directed verdict. Everybody calls it a motion for directed verdict. Okay? Everybody can talk. Yeah, that's how I can talk. I don't know what happens. Why don't you ever do that? Well, I mean, raise it. Yeah, sure. Right? At the end, you're saying, look, no reasonable jury, now that they've heard from both sides, no reasonable jury could possibly find that Hulk Hogan is entitled to one red cent here. Okay? So there's first directed verdict. And again, you're going to see the same basis every single time. So the defendant now has had at least 4 bites of the apple before the jury ever gets the case. Okay? And what is essentially the same one? The same defense, First Amendment. Okay? And when you know it, the jury comes back and awards $140 million to Hulk Hogan. Hulkamania is running wild with a $140 million verdict. And so if you are Gawker at this point, what do you do? Or rather, what did they do? Right. A couple of things, right? Go ahead.
Motion for JMV.
JLB happens. What else? Now here comes the final battle, the final countdown, the final offensive by the defense. Okay? Judgment, notwithstanding the verdict, and a motion for new trial. Again, a lot of the same arguments going into those motions. Okay? Let's break down each one of those. Right, look at this 5001 or Rule 50, right? Basically saying no reasonable jury would agree with that. What about the motion for new trial? We can ask for a motion for new trial. We can make a motion for new trial. What's the rule test?
Later than 28 days after the entry of judgment.
28 days. Right? So, now normally, right, you might think that, all right, jury says I lose, and then, as we'll find out next time, you've got 30 days to appeal in most jurisdictions, right? So you think, well, okay, the next thing that happens is the appeal. Oftentimes in civil cases, that's not the way it goes. Oftentimes, almost all the time in civil cases, you're going to have a slew of these post-trial, we call post-trial motions. Word for a firm that tries a lot of cases, you'll end up writing these. JLB, new trial. And the importance of the 28-day rule means that you have to file that before it's time for your appeal to be filed. Okay? What does the corresponding Kentucky rule say about when you must file a motion for new trial? You're trying to case you really want to know this. Who will be the first to find it?
It's not later than 10 days.
10 days. 10 days. Wait that 28 days in the state court, file your motion for new trial. And the courts can't rule on your motion for new trial. So look out for that. The state rules vary substantially on these post-trial motions
Go with federal.
Make sure to look at your state rules, especially if you're in state court. So we get 28 days. And part of the reason for that limitation is once the appeal has been filed, right, as we'll discover, the trial court mostly has been deprived of jurisdiction over the case. So you don't get to 6 months out, and I'll put a little asterisk by this, because there are situations in which you can. But those are pretty rare. But you don't get to 6 months after the judgment has been rendered in the case. You don't get to file a motion for new trial. What can you file a motion for? What are the grounds for a motion for new trial? Let's look at our introductory problem. 635. Here you've got Lincoln filing a motion for new trial, alleging what kinds of things? Juror misconduct. What else? What else is the problem getting? What are the grounds for the motion for new trial that Lincoln makes in that introductory problem? Everybody where I am?
They also make allegations, or they also put the disability of certain evidence were included and to win trial for social security.
Yeah. Evidentiary issues? Instructions. Is it okay to ask for a new trial on those grounds? Is there anything else they can do?
They were also sent to the jurors, like, that's all.
Yeah, jury can't work, right? So separate these things in your head, right? This is something that you found out about after the fact. We're still assuming that we're within our 28 days. But the juror misconduct and the tampering, you found that out after the jury rendered its verdict. All this stuff here, you knew about before. We're assuming that there were contemporaneous objections made at trial to these evidentiary issues, right? And to the jury instructions. If you didn't object to those things, you're probably host. But let's assume that you did. Because you're a good trial lawyer, you're going to object to everything. What, if any of this, is improper to have a motion for new trial?
Wouldn't the issues that you knew about before be issues for appeal and issues you learned about after be for the trial? Motion for the trial.
Say that again? The issues that you learned about
Before,
the
so the ones that you
yeah.
had contemporaneous objections to, those are the issues on appeal, and the ones that you learned about after the fact, like the misconduct.
Would you take this out of the realm of what you could file an appeal on?
No, not necessarily.
How do you preserve your right to appeal that?
We can't use everything to know about it when it's going on, right? It's like, oh wait, no, that's not your answer.
How do you get that in front of the appellate court? It's not part of the record. So you make it part of the record. Make sense? This has got to go in your motion for new trial. Got to. Okay? You see why that's so critical? You haven't put it before the court yet. So if you want this to be the subject of your appeal, and I'm glad you brought that up. If you want this to be included in your appeal, then it has to be part of the record someplace. You can't just say to the appellate court, oh, I found this out afterwards, and here it is, isn't this an interesting anecdote? No, it's got to be part of the record on appeal. Which means you have to have floated this as an error that would entitle you to a new trial, or entitle you to some kind of relief. The trial court must have had a crack at it first. Okay? That's the general rule. You got to make it part of the record, so the trial court has the opportunity to consider it, but else the appellate court can consider it. Does that make sense?
So,
Yeah.
so we're not doing the evidentiary issue instructions?
I didn't say that.
Okay.
I didn't say that.
To see, you know, everything and everything?
I think it's good. I think it's good. If anybody wants to make the case that you should not put this in a motion for new trial or evidentiary issues, or issues with the jury instructions, even though you've already objected to it, even though that's already preserved for appeal, can you put it in your motion for new trial? Sure you can. Sure you can. What does the rule say you can put in there? Let's see, opening style rule 59. Rule familiar with rule 59? Rule of civil procedure. We heard.
Well, did it say that it was by federal rules really broad and that there are a lot of possible issues?
No. And Glocker make a motion for new trial based upon the First Amendment defense that it's been screaming about the entirety of the litigation. What do you think? Similar to federal. Think they can? Anybody say they can't? Sure they can. As you say, these post-trial motions are, this is your last-ditch effort. We're going to resurrect anything and everything in light of the evidence that the court has now heard. Right? We're going to do all of those arguments and bring them all back here. Sure, you can. You can. If Glocker doesn't do that in a motion for new trial, has it waived his First Amendment arguments? No, those have been amply preserved throughout the entirety of the litigation. They don't have to worry about that. But the thinking generally is, why not? Right? Why not include all this stuff again in our post-trial motions? Because maybe the judge will be impressed by the number of arguments that we have in all these post-trial motions and think, my God, we've got to at least give them a new trial. How often does that work? Did it work in this case? What it says, it is very broad, right? After a jury trial, you can file a motion for a new trial for any reason for which a new trial has heretofore been granted in any action of law. Do you think the new trials have been granted for evidentiary issues? Sure. Legal issues? Sure. Bad jury instructions? Sure. juror confusion, juror tampering, juror misconduct, absolutely. This kind of stuff could potentially get you a new trial. Super, super go up. But this just gets you a new trial. It doesn't mean that you win if you're the defendant. Gawker gets all the way through this litigation, says, we deserve a new trial. The jury was talking in the hallway, and we overheard that they were Googling this case, and that violates this court's order. If they're not doing any independent research, and the jurors do independent research anyway, of course they do, every single case. This time, we really have the evidence that they're doing it. We heard them talking in the hallway. So you have to give us a new trial. It doesn't mean we win. It just means we get to start all over again. Yeah?
So this is May. Is there anything for new trials as a matter of law? Like, 'cause this is up to the court, right?
Yeah, this is within the sound discretion of the court.
So is there anything are there any grounds as a matter of law to get a new trial, or is that like an appeal thing?
Well, yeah, so the grounds that you would win a case as a matter of law, by this point in time, they're most likely been litigated to the hilt, right? Through your motion to dismiss, through your motion to summary judgment, whatever. In terms of, is there a reason that a judge has to, just by itself, so just to make sure we're separating from all the legal issues that could have disposed of the case up to that point. Is there a situation in which a judge has to grant a new trial? I think the answer to that question is no. It's within the sound discretion of the court. And so when the appellate, this gets confusing procedurally, but when the appellate court reviews a decision to grant a new trial, they're looking at whether or not the court abused its discretion in refusing to grant a new trial, but they're also looking at the legal issues that underlie it. And most likely, if you're looking at those legal issues, they're looking at them de novo. Does that make sense? So like there's a distinction between, here's the law on the case, which the appellate court is going to look at de novo, right? And here's the judge's decision to grant a new trial or to deny a new trial. And that's left to the judge's discretion.
Is that the discretion at that endpoint or all throughout, like for the other directed verdict motions or all that?
Yeah, no, it's going to be discretionary to the court. It's going to be discretionary to the court, but the legal issues exist independently of those, right?
When you say they're looking at abuse of discretion, are they only looking at the discretion when they were at the end of the trial, or all of the other points of discretion as well?
So I want to make sure that the two issues don't get confused, right? The judge has the discretion to grant a new trial or not, right? And that discretionary decision is looked at just at that point in time that the decision is made, right? But everything else, like everything else that underlies that decision, has its own standard of review. So I make a motion for a new trial based on the application of the First Amendment and based on an evidentiary issue. The court shouldn't have allowed this piece of evidence in. Okay? So the decision to grant a new trial or not grant a new trial is technically evaluated for abuse of discretion, but really what the appellate courts are looking at are the two underlying issues. So First Amendment issue is going to be reviewed de novo because it's a pure issue of law, and the evidentiary issue is going to be reviewed for abuse of discretion because the judge has great discretion over what evidence to let in or keep out. Okay? Does that make sense? So I mean, in some ways, the standard of review on appeal for a motion for a new trial really doesn't matter a whole lot because you're looking at the grounds that the party is asserting for the new trial in the first place. So that's really what matters. Each one of those grounds is going to have a standard review. There's much. So that is different. You're looking at a new trial. We're saying that the verdict was rendered against the great weight of evidence. Okay? So that's one way of doing it. And that's sort of the here. You can't point to any legal errors or jury tampering or jury misconduct or anything like that. So, well, you know, Your Honor, if you were the jury, would you have done this? The verdict was rendered against the great weight of evidence. And the court can say, well, I wouldn't have done that. I think it's against the great weight of evidence. Then we're in the trial. Do you get to, let's say, I'm Hulk Hogan. And Gawker makes a motion for a new trial. And that motion is granted. Can I then go to the appellate court and say, hey, I should have granted that motion for a new trial? You guys read your notes and questions? What do I do? I think it's in notes and questions. It's in there somewhere. Can I immediately file an appeal? That's my question. The motion for a new trial has been granted. Yep, go back to square one. 6 months from now, we're going to have another trial. Can the Hulkster appeal? Right then and there. No. And why not? There's no final judgment. There's no final judgment. We'll dig more into it on Wednesday. Right? We talk more about appeals. There's no final judgment. The court has said there's another issue. We've got to relitigate these issues before there can be a full and final adjudication of everybody's rights in this matter. Go back to your respective corners and we're going to see that again. Okay? Can't appeal that. Now, are there devices to get the appellate court involved? Yes, but that's more of an advanced civil procedure type of thing, and they're surefire losers. Motion to alter and then or vacate. Way down to the later part, Rule 59. Talks about a motion to alter or amend the judgment. In common parlance, we'll call it alter, amend, or vacate the judgment. That's just what it says. If you got this judgment wrong, or you got some aspect of it wrong, then you need to fix it. It's a little different from asking for a new trial altogether, because we're not asking to have the proverbial baby thrown out with the bathwater here. Let's say I try a contract case. And I've got claims for breach of contract, I've got claims for promissory estoppel, I've got claims for fraud. all related to the same course of action. Breach of contract, the court awards $50,000. Promissory estoppel, the court awards, the jury awards rather, $50,000. For fraud, the jury awards, you guessed it, $50,000. For a total verdict of $150,000. And let's also assume that I've got punitive damages. And the jury is really mad at me and awards $200 million in punitive damages. You're going to make your motion for your trial. You might make your motion for J&OB, probably goes as my own. We'll talk about that in a minute. You're going to make the motions that say, come on. You're going to make the motions that say we should win, or we should at least start over. Right? J&OB motion says we win, despite what the jury says. Motion for new trial says we start over. The motion to alter, amend, or vacate says, you got to fix this, court. This is very wrong. Right? Number one, we have overlapping categories of damages, and so anything that could have been covered by the promissory estoppel was also covered by fraud. Those are duplicative categories of damages. You can't award $50,000 for promissory estoppel and fraud out of the same course of action. You just get fraud. That's it. Right? By the way, the plaintiff didn't present enough evidence to show that there really was fraud here. That's the subject of my J&OB and my motion for new trial. But even if you don't buy that, court, even if you don't think we should have a new trial, you don't think I should win, you already denied my motion for summary judgment, my motion to dismiss, I'm really mad about that. But at least, you got to fix this. Get rid of one of these guys. Oh, and also, $200 million in punitive damages. Have you guys read A&W versus Gore yet? You kind of yeah. You know, $200 million in punitive damages? Reduce that amount. Give me a reduction in that amount. If only there was a fancy Latin word for a reduction in amount, and I can't think of what it is. But, oh, yeah, good. Yes, you go. Remitted, right? Remitted falls under the umbrella of what would ask for a motion to alter, amend, or vacate judgment. Those are remitted. Reduce the amount. Again, usually these are lumped together in some way, shape, or form. You should look at the Gawker motions. They file one J&OB motion, and they file one big motion for new trial, which I think includes their amended argument. But there's not a right and wrong way to do this. If you wanted to do it all in one big gigantic motion, you could do it. Depending on how you're limited by your local rules. J&OB is the toughest sell, because why? These fall, what? Let me just say. These fall under the same rule in the federal system, right? Judgment as a matter of law, it's Rule 50. And on a directed verdict, you're saying no reasonable jury could find against us if you let it go to the jury. But it also allows you to make this motion after the jury has rendered its verdict. And so then what are you saying? In essence, you're saying no reasonable jury could have done what this jury just did, right? This is an unreasonable jury. You don't get to do this, by the way, if you haven't made a directed verdict in the first place. That's pretty important.
So this, I find this interesting for the Amber Geiger trial.
Well, that's a criminal case.
Well, yeah, but I mean, just the illustration.
Okay.
You know, they found her guilty, but what someone pointed out about the jury was that like 7 out of the 12 were minorities, and that's not common at all.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's an argument that was an unreasonable jury, I guess. Like, I know it's ugly argument, but
Who made that argument?
I'm not saying
Okay, yeah.
but
So what
like,
makes that argument that should be disbarred?
Right, but I mean that's just what popped into my head. Like
Yeah.
that doesn't usually happen because juries usually aren't that diverse. Like the cops being found guilty. So
Judge Olu Stevens here in Jefferson Circuit Court has declared mistrials in several criminal cases because they couldn't see a jury that would cross-section review. Problem. Especially in a criminal case, you really get a jury review. But I digress. Judgment non obstante veredicto, right? Notwithstanding the verdict. So I am Walker. Hulk Hogan wins a $140 million judgment against me. And I say, yeah, that's fine that the jury did that, but I should win anyway. How likely are you to succeed on that point? It's not outside of the realm of possibility, but think about where you are if you're Walker at this point. You've asked for summary judgment. You said there's no genuine issue of material facts to be decided by the jury. You asked for judgment as a matter of law after Hulk Hogan has put on all his evidence. Now you're saying, well, we know we said there was no genuine issue of material facts for a jury to resolve, and we know we said that no reasonable jury could have found against us, and now the jury found against us. But let's have judgment in our favor anyway. Can the judge really do that? And the bigger question, they can because it's a judge, of course. The bigger question is, are they inclined to? And maybe. Right? Think about it. If you're a judge, you really don't like the case brought by Hulk Hogan. You're a savvy judge. You really don't like it. Do you grant a motion to dismiss? You might. Do you grant a motion for summary judgment? You might. Do you grant a directed verdict? Maybe. Or do you let them go through the entirety of the process to see what happens? Because it's really hard to undo a jury verdict. Right? It's really hard by the time you get to the end of a case like that to say there's some sort of legal error that mandates reversal here that is somehow unfair. And at the end of all that, you say, you know what? Actually, the First Amendment is a bar to Hulk Hogan's recovery here. Therefore, I'm going to grant you a J&OB. If If you guys want to start this whole process over again, go ahead, but you can fight the appellate court for the next 3 years first. It's only possible. It's not outside the realm of possibility. And so you see these motions made very frequently. Look at our every problem already. What is the difference, though? If you look at those Gawker motions, right? Just to sort of, before we get into that. When you file one of these, your time on appeal stops, right? The time to file an appeal is paused. Because there still is no final judgment while you have one of these motions hanging out there, right? So you file a motion for new trial, or a motion for JNOV, or whatever it is, in the 10 days of the jury verdict. And then you wait, right? You wait for a judge to issue an opinion on your motion for new trial, your JNOV motion, your motion to alter amendment vacate, whatever your post-trial motions are. Okay? Then when that opinion is rendered, that's probably your final judgment, and then your time starts to run for your appeal. Yes. So this gets confusing because I think, for you guys as second-year law students, when you think about a trial and what happens after a trial, you think, okay, the jury comes back with their verdict, and at that point in time, that's when the time of appeal starts to run. And that's just not true. The vast majority of cases you could, I've had cases that I've taken to trial that have not had a final judgment after the jury verdict for another year. Okay? Remember we were talking about how could a case possibly last 10 years? This is another way. It's a pile of time. So I made my motion for new trial, my motion to alter amendment vacate, my motion for JNOV, I blast all those, I lay them right on the court's desk, and say, figure this out, sort this out, give me some kind of relief here. So the court has to sort all that out. Maybe we have evidentiary hearings. Right? If there's juror misconduct, if there's juror misconduct or juror tampering, maybe the jurors have to come in and testify. I'm at least going to be making legal arguments about why the First Amendment says I win here, or why these evidentiary issues are so bad that I can get a trial, something like that. So we could have hearing, after hearing, we could have multiple hearings. We could brief this until the end of time. But until the judge issues an opinion on those post-trial motions, your time for appeal doesn't start to run. Because you don't have a final judgment. Your time of appeal doesn't start to run. I'm leading a little bit into what we're going to cover next week. Your time of appeal doesn't start to run until you have a final judgment. And what's a final judgment? Something that fully and finally adjudicates the rights of all parties. And if you have these arguments out there and say, look, I'm entitled to relief under Rule 59, under Rule 50, maybe under Rule 60, I'm entitled to relief before you enter this final judgment. If that's still hanging out there, then your time for appeal hasn't started to run yet. Make sense? This is fine. What?
Final judgment, you with the judge's entry of final judgment?
Yes.
So is your time for appeal to start when the judge resolves the post-trial motion, or when he enters the final judgment is made away?
Enters the final judgment.
Okay, so
Yep.
he can rule on the motions the day before, and then enter the final judgment the next day,
Yes.
and your time to judgment.
Yes, yes, that's right. Yeah. You'll know when the judgment has been entered. Right? It's not when the point is, it's not when the verdict happens. That's not a final judgment. Yeah.
What if you found out about juror misconduct or tampering after the 28 days?
Oh, that's a whole different ball of wax. That's Rule 60 stuff. Okay. Not there. What if you find out, 20 years after your client's been convicted of a crime they didn't commit, that there's actually DNA of the person who really did it sitting on a shelf in some police locker somewhere? Right? Are there procedural devices to deal with that? Yes. Okay. That's not the plan, Rob. This is all pre-final judgment stuff. We'll get there. Right. So these Gawker motions, how are they different from one another? What's Gawker arguing in the JNOV motion? Kind of old stuff we're talking about already. Here's the JNOV motion. JNOV motion, again, we should win this thing, even though the jury returned a $140 million verdict against us. We win anyway. Why? I'll flip through it. There's nice little headings that tell you what our arguments are. How do you encapsulate what those arguments are saying? Judgment must be entered for all defendants on each of plaintiff's claims. Why? Why on earth would that? Why would you ever argue that? A jury just found in their favor. Do you expect that most of these arguments are going to be legal arguments or factual arguments? One person said they're legal arguments. They're factual arguments. Now here's an exception. Defendants neither knew nor believed that the publication did not relate to a matter of public concern. What Gawker's saying here in essence is that the First Amendment acts as a bar because the speech was a public concern, number one. So just as a matter of law, we win, right? Judgment should be entered in our favor. But also, this jury could not reasonably have determined that defendants knew or believed that the publication did not relate to a matter of public concern. Right? It's a lot of double and triple and quadruple negatives there. But essentially, saying that no reasonable jury could have attributed knowledge and belief to the defendants in the way that they did, that they actually did, right? So the arguments are both legal and factual. Right? Number one, the First Amendment is an absolute bar, but there's this intent and knowledge element that goes along with the First Amendment. and the jury just couldn't have found any other way. Bubba Clem's motion to quash required dismissal of this case. I don't know what that's from. Plaintiff lacked a reasonable expectation of privacy in his sexual encounters with Bubba Clem, saying that the jury couldn't have found that he had a reasonable expectation of privacy. No, that's exactly what they found. But if they didn't, then Gawker would be entitled to judgment. I'm not saying here that there's additional info that didn't come out at trial, or that there was jury tampering, or anything like that. That doesn't get you a judgment as a matter of law. That kind of stuff can only be the basis for a new trial. You guys. So this is their motion for a new trial, or the alternative for remittance, or is qualitatively different. Right? If you're Gawker, which one of these would you rather have granted? Motion for a new trial or the JNOB? Of course, the JNOB. What's the JNOB? That's the first thing. It's the first line of it. And they say so in this first footnote, right? This motion is being filed in conjunction with the defendant's motion for judgment notwithstanding the verdict. The issues herein need only be reached if the JNOB and a motion is denied in whole or part. So in other words, please let us just win this case for God's sake. But if you don't, then at least let us go back and try it again. Okay? What else do I have to do? Yes, go. Yes, go. I don't want to talk too much about it. Here, I think this kind of gets to Elizabeth's question. What happens? Let's lead up first, though. Procedurally, how do we get there? How do we get to the appellate court in fiasco? Say again? What? Oh, did I tell you not to read it?
Yeah.
Oh, never mind. We did the problems, right? Problems around 646. Real quick. Number 3, Abbott sues Costello. Court denies Costello's motion and the jury finds for Abbott. Costello moves for judgment as a matter of law within 3 days after the judgment. The court denies the motion 5 weeks later. Okay, Costello moves for a new trial on the ground that the judge improperly excluded important evidence. We already talked about this. What does the judge do with that motion for a new trial? Yeah, that goes in the circular file. Why? Outside of time. Right? Outside of the 28 days that you get. The 28 days does not start to run from the denial of the judgment as a matter of law. Another reason why you see these motions all kind of getting filed in a blast at the same time. Abbott sues Costello, number 4. He moves for judgment as a matter of law after all proofs presented. The court denies Costello's motion. The jury finds for Abbott. Costello believes that the judge should have granted the judgment as a matter of law motion. What motion should Costello file? So translating this to Kentucky speak. Abbott sues Costello after Abbott puts on all the proof. Costello moves for a directed verdict. Okay. Judge says, nope, I'm not going to give you a directed verdict. The jury finds for the plaintiff. You're the defendant, what do you want to file? Everything, right? Yeah, everything. What it's trying to get at is, it wants you to file another motion for judgment as a matter of law. Okay? Because that's what the rule of 50 contemplates. So you have to first make that motion for directed verdict, have to close their proof, then at the end, you can make another judgment as a matter of JOB, is what we call it. Right? It's judgment as a matter of law under the federal rules. If you don't make that motion for directed verdict, I'll say again, if you don't make a motion for directed verdict at the close of the plaintiff's proof, you don't get to make a judgment as a matter of law motion, a JNOB motion, after the jury returns verdict against you. You don't get to do that. But the real answer is you file the whole ball of wax. JNOB, motion for the trial, motion to alter amend or vacate. Okay. 6, after the jury verdict for Abbott, Costello moves for a new trial on the ground of improper jury instructions. The judge grants the motion. Go back to your respective corners. Let's try this case again. The plaintiff appeal. No, what are we talking about? No appeal. No appeal, not yet. Number 6, because there's no final judgment. Everybody feel like you got it? Yeah, go ahead.
So just to be sure on 6, so they have to go back and try the whole thing again later.
Yeah, more likely just they're going to settle it. I think probably what the judge told me.
So once they grant Mr. Strong, they do the second trial, then you could appeal it, so the grant Mr. Strong there.
If you try the thing 15 times, right, then you've got a very substantial record for the appellate court to look at. So could it happen that you try a case twice, and you have 2 trial records for the appellate court to evaluate and say, these are all the different ways, and the jury rules against you twice. These are all the ways that the court screwed this up, or the jury screwed it up. Can you take all that to the appellate court? Yes. Realistically speaking, you just be looking at the second trial. Go ahead. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
So the plaintiff, like I said, would grant Mr. Strong there.
Yeah.
Can the fact that a new trial was granted be reviewed for abuse of discretion? Like that?
Yes, but I mean, when do you get there? The problem is you don't. I mean, the only procedural device that I know that you would have to meaningfully sort that out is to file a motion with the appellate, an emergency motion with the appellate court, and say stop these proceedings from happening. And that in $2 usually gets you that long. Not going to do much of in terms of, when would you litigate that issue in front of the appellate court? You have to wait until there's another final judgment. So you can say, the court was in error in granting this new trial 2 years ago, but you've already had the trial since then, and a whole bunch of other stuff has happened, there's probably not going to much matter. Anything else? Have a good weekend.
Hey, boss.